Good morning, Patriots. It's Joel going solo today. Ben is unavailable. So I invited Michael Gavlak on the show. Let's see if hopefully he'll come in soon. And wanted to talk a little bit about the big news story, this event, or Nancy Guthrie kidnapping Savannah Guthrie's mom, and just get his take on that. Someone's in the comments section. See who's here. Lucas is here. Good to see you. Hopefully someone else will come up. Right back at you. Hello. So, yeah, if anybody out there is listening, not checked in yet, let me know what you think about this. I've been a little following this tangentially, the kidnapping story, and just because it has been in the news so much, and it's getting to be kind of an old story, but yet it still seems to be in the news because obviously nothing's happened, and there's conjecture and speculation about all kinds of different things. Why the kidnapper would try and hide the camera with a piece of flour or something. Lucas, you've been unfamiliar with the story? If you're unfamiliar with the story, Savannah Guthrie, I guess she's an NBC Today Show host, I think, and her mom in Tucson is gone missing, and there's been some ransom notes, and they're not sure. At first they thought it was a kidnapping. Now they're really not sure at all what it is. Michael is here. And
I cannot hear you.
Having a slow internet day.
I have no
and I can hear you. Can anybody hear Michael?
What shall I do?
Testing. Are you coming in?
Get out of here and come back. I'll be back.
Because we can hear you. Okay, Michael's going to get out and come back. So, all right. So, yeah, Lucas, if you're unfamiliar, she disappeared probably close to 2 weeks ago. And a couple days later, they got a ransom note, someone demanding Bitcoin, which is kind of strange for it to happen 2 days later. She's 84 years old. She needs medications. They found blood at the house, her blood, and there's video of a man in a mask coming to her door. You there, Michael? Can you hear us? Okay, apparently Michael can't hear us, and we can hear him. So, yeah. So that's basically it. There have been really no leads. They haven't found her. They're worried because she needs medication. She's 84 years old. And here's Michael again. One more time. You there? This is something on my end that I can do. I don't know. So, okay. We'll see if we can get it figured out. If not, not sure what to do there. Maybe I need to invite him. Invite guest. Let's see. Yeah, not good enough producer on that to know. So hopefully we can figure that out, Michael. I'll let him know that we can hear him, and then we'll get on with the show one way or the other. So I just let him know that we can hear him. Okay. I'm not sure how to do that. I'm not sure how to contact him. So let me see. We'll see what we can do. I'll see what he can do because I've got a show to get going. Yeah, Chloe. I don't think she'll be found alive. I don't either. this doesn't seem like a kidnapping to me. Again, the lateness of the ransom note and the fact that there hasn't been a ransom note since then, any other type of demands, the fact that there was blood on the scene wasn't a good sign for me. So, yeah. So, but again, what I kind of wanted to do is just get your guys' take on it. I wanted to get Michael's take on it, and then see how this, what, that's a good question, Lucas. I don't know much about crypto enough to know if that's true. I do know that there was some action in the crypto account. But yeah, I would think it would be, unless it's like some Swiss bank account type of thing. I don't know if crypto has that kind of thing. Yeah. So outrageous to hurt such a defenseless old woman. It tells you a lot about the criminal. Yeah. I know at first they thought it was a family member that might have been involved in this. I've heard some psychological type of things saying, or that the behavior of the kidnapper, him hiding, he was on the porch and there was obviously a camera there, and he goes and grabs some flowers from the garden to cover up the camera really clumsily. So it didn't seem like it was a professional job, which tells me it wasn't a professional kidnapping. And, we haven't had kidnappings in a long time in this country. When I was young, there was a lot of really high profile kidnappings. Obviously, Patty Hearst was the most famous one. I know that, and if you don't know the Patty Hearst, most of us probably are old enough to know that. But William Randolph Hearst's, I think, granddaughter was kidnapped, and a lot of by the Simonese Liberation Army, which was a kind of a small radical group. And they eventually, I don't know if it's Stockholm syndrome or initially they had her so long and were abusive so long to her that she actually joined the group and participated in some bank robberies they did. That they haven't done enough movies about the Patty Hearst story because that was something. Okay, so on the cryptocurrency, theoretically, it's not traceable, but pretty sure the authorities have the technology to trace it. I think, isn't that the appeal of crypto, is that it's really not traceable. It's not something the government can get their hands on. So contrary to the myth of total anonymity, crypto operates on public, immutable, and transparent ledgers. That's blockchain, right? Yeah. So, okay. And I see Michael has come back.
I can hear you now.
I'll see if I can add him to the stage this way. So.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
I can hear you now. I don't know what it was. I just had to do a restart on my computer.
Oh, well, there you go. Glad you could join us. So let me get you a little bigger so we can get the full glory and splendor of that beard and flowing mane. Don't forget to flip up the hair. Your public demand, yes. I see a lot fewer bugs and lice than I did last time. You must be grooming.
I was hungry.
Oh, okay. There you go. Protein is protein. Yeah, we were talking about the kidnapping. Just want to get your take on it. We've been talking about actually it's kind of gone into crypto because they demanded some cryptocurrency. We've been talking about how that works. Can they trace it? Whatever. What's your sense here? What's your reaction?
Okay, a couple of things. So I mean, I haven't read extensively. Obviously, I'm, seeing the headlines and kind of following along. One thing that stands out to me that the Gateway Pundit keeps reporting on is that local law enforcement are not cooperating with federal law enforcement. And this is Arizona, and it's southern Arizona, Pima County. I graduated from high school in Tucson. Right.
Yeah.
So
I knew it was a local story for you, but yeah.
Yeah. And when I found out it was Tucson and then it's the Catalina Hills, I went to Catalina High School. So
Okay.
This is really local to where I lived when I was there. And so there's that. And, it's a leftist town in general. Phoenix has tended to be more conservative, but Tucson has been more, left leaning. So, but with the stealing of the 2020 election and the stealing of the 2022 election, I can say that freely here because that's all being exposed. Like the governor of Arizona is an illegitimate governor, and it trickles down into all the positions, and sounds like this is just a quagmire for the left, right? It's bad. It's one of their own, Guthrie. Savannah Guthrie, and in my previous career, we reported on them all the time. So a friendly for the left, her mother being kidnapped. It's like, and then the law enforcement, the problem with, local law enforcement not cooperating with federal law enforcement. So one of the good things is it should be exposing the problem that the left has in their anti-police and even their anti-ICE, anti-border control or border patrol stance. So it's really bad for them. A good thing about this story is it's bad for the left. It's exposing the cracks in their nonsense. But what it also shows, this story and was it El Paso, Texas airport shutdown?
I didn't hear about that.
It was like a couple days ago that they literally shut down the airport because of drones, of cartel drones in the area. Right. So that's
yes, I think I did tangentially hear about that. Yeah. So was that what it was? Yeah.
I join these two stories together because they're on the border, and the way technology is advancing and the way the border has been wide open for 4 years is Tucson is Mexican territory, basically, right? That's what's happened is you've got this influx of foreigners, and now Tucson, southern Arizona, and same with portions of New Mexico and Texas and California, they're considering it that they're taking over, right? That they're taking back, or they're invading.
Reconquista, yes.
Yeah, so you're right, Reconquista. And so this is the kind of stuff they've been doing in Mexico for a long time, right? The movie,
yeah, that's what I was going to ask you, because my first reaction to this happens in third world countries. This happens in Latin America all the time. They have like a kidnapping culture there.
Did you see Man on Fire, the movie?
Man on Fire? No, I did not.
It's one of my top, in my top 5 all-time favorite movies. It's Denzel Washington. He's a washed up former, Secret Service agent and Green Beret or something, and he's wrestling with his demons, the flawed hero. And he's down in Mexico. He's got his network of expatriates that hang out in Mexico, and he gets called in for a job. There's a kidnapping of a little girl, and it really, it's a well-made movie, one of his best performances of all time, but it really exposes kidnap culture, right? That's how some people make their money, right? They kidnap a prominent public figure or a relative of a prominent public figure, and they ask for money, and they either get their money or they don't, but it doesn't stop, right? If you pay the money, it perpetuates the problem. If you don't pay the money, it's a problem. So I beyond all that, I don't know what this is. I can't even say it's a cartel. We don't really know. So
right. Yeah, we were saying we're not optimistic. Some of the people in the comments have not been optimistic. Yeah, that they're going to get her back, and not even that. Maybe that it wasn't even a kidnapping because of the amateur hour look of it. The video of the front doorbell camera of that guy coming up, and he sees the camera and he takes some flowers from the garden and tries to put it over, which is a really confusing thing. Anybody else would have just put a piece of tape or had a piece of tape or spray paint or something. And the fact that there was blood in the house, and it was her mom's blood, for an 84-year-old woman, if they did anything to her physically, that doesn't sound good. That was the thing to me that gave me very little hope that they would find her. But no, I was hoping you would, that's exactly the reaction I had of it. And I was hoping you, being the eternal optimistic guy about society and where things are going, and me being the pessimist, that you'd be able to talk me out of that. But that was my first reaction is, the more we let the third world into our country, into our first world country, that we're not going to bring them up to, to our level. They're going to bring us down, and what you said about Tucson is very, reminiscent of what I see in San Diego County. If you go south of San Diego into areas like Chula Vista and even National City, if anybody knows where those are, but it looks more and more like Mexico every time I go down there. It just seems like the border, the Mexico is coming north faster and faster. You see llanterias and you see tires everywhere, and you see shoes hanging on, clothesline or on power lines, and so it just seems like this is a sign, just another signal of our society being turned over, And like I said, I didn't know Tucson was a leftist place, but it does kind of have that kind of new agey feel, a little bit like Taos or Sedona kind of thing. Is that the vibe in Tucson?
Yeah, it's kind of a hippie commune feel to it. which I kind of fit in at one point in my life. And I guess I could walk through there now, and they would think I was a resident. Obviously,
well, yeah, they would. They'd put you on the voting rolls, and give you free needles, and whatever.
Like the king of Tucson right now.
Yeah, you. So,
but on that, well, first I want to answer. Chloe asked, "Who's the star of Man on Fire?" It's Denzel Washington. If you missed that, Denzel. So I mean, this story is a bit close to home. I haven't. We used to go to Tucson every Thanksgiving. That was one of our trips every year. Was for we'd be in LA with my wife's family for Christmas, but we'd be in Tucson with my family. And so I have 2 uncles, 2 aunts, and my dad all live basically in Tucson. My dad sometimes spends time in northern Arizona, and my aunt and uncle sometimes in Phoenix, but pretty much Tucson is the home base. My grandfather was a professor there at the University of Arizona until he passed. And then my uncle has a piece of property that he's built. It's outside of town that he built a house on, but it's, he had visions of it being his final, resting place and going and living out there. And it's just gorgeous, this incredible spot. Not many neighbors too close by. It's just in the natural, in nature. But it's so far out of town, he decided, well, I was just going to stay in his house in town. And so there's this piece of property with a nice house, not completely finished out, but it's livable. And I wonder, right? It could be completely overrun. It could have people living in it. It could have families living in it right now because, my uncle doesn't go out there all the time. So those are things that cross my mind. And the good news is we've got the administration going down a checklist of prioritizing, properly prioritizing things now. Yeah, we are a country. What is a country? A country is a thing that has borders around it. What are borders, right? It's, what does citizenship mean? What does it mean to vote? What does it mean? And so the important issues are being addressed, but it's like after letting a cancer fester for a while, there's that question: has it gone too far to reverse or not? You're going to have, when it gets to celebrities, families being kidnapped, that's a line we haven't really seen crossed. We don't know the outcome of this yet, but like you, I'm am generally an optimist, but in this case,
Yeah.
if it doesn't turn out well, then it's a blemish on the left, right? So that is the silver lining, right? All things work together for the good of those who love God, who are called according to His purpose as well. Samantha Guthrie's mom was a Christian, right? That's what this is all about. She didn't show up for her remote group that watches the Sunday morning service. So if she's no longer with us, she's in a better place, and it's not a trope. It's true, right? But poor Savannah, has to reconcile with that. And is this that red pill moment for her, right? It's like this forces the influencers to really dig deep and say, what's the problem here? But they really need to get to the bottom of it. If it's not even a Mexican cartel that did it, then everything I'm saying is moot. But that's, we're jumping to that conclusion because it seems to be the most rational kind of thing, conclusion. So remains to be seen, but I'm not optimistic.
Yeah. Sadly, it's too bad. So, but I know she was a Christian. I know Savannah was. She quoted Psalm 23 and Isaiah 26.
Psalm
and
23.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, that's the report on that. But I wanted to start with this since you were late coming in. Yesterday, I did my show on the 2 Super Bowl halftime shows. I just want to get your take on those, being the entertainment guy that you are. What'd you think?
I think it was a glorious day. It was a glorious day. We live in this culture. We're experiencing it. We're witnessing it, and there's some crossover. Like I'm friends with the person at TPUSA that was I'm fairly confident was one of the main movers and shakers of that event, right? The person that I'm friends with, that's right up her alley. That's right in her wheelhouse. So it's like, oh, so it's not even 6 degrees of separation for me. It's like I was texting with her the next day. I'm like, so a little bit of bias. Yeah, I'm born in Phoenix, right? But also working in the media, I've known, and I've had to say this to my wife many, many times, the Super Bowl, it's the Oscars for men, right? It's the one,
Really?
It's the biggest event of the year, right? The Oscars is the biggest event of the year for women, right? But the Super Bowl is the biggest single event for everyone, right? I mean for men, but it's like the biggest. That's why the commercials, that's the premium for the rate on commercials is Super Bowl halftime, etc.
Right.
It's such a glorious thing to see the deluded left shoot themselves so, like, not the foot, both feet, right? They're just blasting away at their own feet, just chopping themselves down with their. Here's the rationale, right? Well, the rationale and the spin is, well, we got more viewers. This Super Bowl is the most viewed. It's not the numbers. It's the numbers in first world nations that have the money to spend on the products, right? It's not global numbers, right? It's not, we had more people watch this in other countries and this and that. It's like, yeah, but they're not the ones that the advertisers are targeting. The people that are paying the money to put those commercials in there want the top dollar spenders. And that's the US market. And this was disastrous. Bad Bunny had to shut off all his social media after this. That's the proof right there. The proof that this was a disaster was the star himself was not reveling in it afterwards. He was, it was a disaster for him, for his career, and for all of those people. Roger Goodell is like, what the heck are you doing? This is the most American of American moments in the year. And nobody was interested. We lost 40% of our market, of our viewership after the second quarter. So, and then Turning Point USA, it was just genius. So being a Christian, and having worked in churches, for a long time in my history, I'm familiar with alternate halftime shows, right? Churches and ministries. Like I remember when the Dallas Cowboys were in their like 4th Super Bowl or something in 4 years or something. And I remember going to a church, and the church was like, our halftime show is going to be this sermon and this message and this and that. And I'm like, what? I'm working at this church, so I have to be at this thing, but I want to watch the halftime show. But so this was like a stroke of genius for Turning Point USA, because, you know, I've run into people that are like, I'm a Charlie Kirk fan, but I'm not a Turning Point USA fan. Like, I'm sorry, Turning Point USA is making some good decisions. They're making some right decisions. There's plenty of wrong stuff. There's plenty of crazy stuff. There's plenty of infighting. And I've been, you know, interacting with some people and et cetera. But for the most part, it's not going away now. It's like that success was just the first one. And the NFL now has something to compete with that they never thought they would have to compete with. So that's my take. There's my 2 cents.
Okay. What did you think of I keep saying Chris Rock, Kid Rock's redemption performance? First of all, that's your genre. The first song you sang seems to be more of the.
So I didn't actually watch either of the halftime shows. I was bouncing around. I watched the Super Bowl in 4 different locations. I started first quarter in one place, second quarter in another place, the part of the halftime show and the part of the third quarter in another place, and I ended the fourth quarter, last 4 minutes of the game, sitting on my couch. But
it would be good for you to take a look at it. I didn't see. I went out and did stuff in my garden. My wife tried to find the TPUSA one, but couldn't, because we had heard that it was coming. So, but I did watch them later. But Kid Rock did, at the end, there was some country music, very familiar style of country music.
He released the song "Till You Can't."
Right. But before that, yeah. So at the very end, they said, "Here's Kid Rock," and so he did his performance, his character, and a song called "Bada Twaba," where it's very much like a screaming kind of rap song where he's dancing, and it's got some questionable lyrics, right? There wasn't a family friendly song at all, but it's back. I think it was from 1998 when he was first starting. Well, then they transitioned into this beautiful violin and cello duet. Very beautiful song, Christian song. I still can't find the title of it. And then they said, after that, here's our brother Robert Ritchie. And that's when Kid Rock threw off his old persona, came out as Robert Ritchie, sang the song "Till You Can," and added the verse. Did you hear about the verse he added?
Well, so I may not have watched the shows. I did catch the Bad Bunny performance at the third thing I went to, and I actually filmed it and I actually commented, because I was with a bunch of Latinos at a Super Bowl party, and so they were all loving it, and I'm standing behind kind of filming it, and I turned to the camera, was like, I didn't see any white people in that halftime show. I like none. I see all of them watching it, but not a single white person. But then when I looked into the song and I listened to it, I went to listen to, I guess it charted. "Till You Can't" was the top 2 songs on iTunes, where Bad Bunny was number 3. The top 2, the original and Kid Rock's version, both dominated Bad Bunny. And I came to tears. I cried listening to it. It's amazing.
Yeah. But that was that verse he added at the end was the final thing of, you dust off that Bible, you can, come to Christ as your Savior until you can't. And I just thought that performatively was a great, the redemption arc or his testimony, and he's like, hey, I still have my baggage. This is the old me. It's still there, but this was my journey from that until, and luckily I took that for him to me. And luckily before I came to Christ when I could, and not after, not when I couldn't.
So powerful. Yeah. And after that, I went to find my wife to hug her.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Till you can't. Right.
So. Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, so anyways, I just thought that was performatively, and like you said, TPUSA is doing a lot of really good stuff, and there's just so much talk about how, especially in Christian circles that I hear, how dangerous the Christian right is, and all this, and I'm like, but look at what Charlie Kirk's memorial. What did you hear? You didn't hear "burn, baby, burn." You didn't hear, "Hey, we're gonna take to the streets." No, you heard, Tucker Carlson was as many tangents he's gone off on. He had the best thing. He said, the problem with politics and left-wing politics will tell you the problem is society. The problem is government. The problem is these institutions that we have to break down. We said, no, Christianity said the problem is you. You're the problem. You got to take care of you, and you're standing with God. You're at enmity with God. You're an enemy of God. But he offers you this gift of salvation through Jesus, through Christ. And it's up to you to deal with that and to either accept it or reject it. And if you reject it, you haven't dealt with yourself, and you're not going to deal with society until you deal with yourself. Jordan Peterson says that all the time. You have to fix you before you go out and fix the world, right?
Make your bed.
Yeah, make your bed. And so it's the same message. He was just like, where Bad Bunny was complaining about politics. He was, the lights were going off because in Puerto Rico, lights were going off, and then had these veiled things again about ICE, and everybody else is the problem. And then he says, love is more powerful than hate, or whatever what that little logo was. I'm like, you don't even know what love is. I don't. But love starts. There's a counterfeit, like everything else. Satan counterfeits everything. There's real love that God offers you through the sacrifices of his son, and you can either accept or reject that. But the world's idea of love doesn't tell you that.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you can, I would encourage you to watch the whole thing. But again, like the country music before, I'm not a country music guy. And honestly, it was a little stereotypically, I just want my guns and my dog, and, why can't I have that, but then it just ended with this fantastic testimonial story of his coming to Christ, his testimony. So
good things.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're over time. Glad you finally made it.
Sorry, technical difficulties.
Oh no, I've been choppy on this, and hopefully this didn't come out choppy. But I'm always telling the folks about my they experienced my technology problems with me. So, but all right. Well, I'll end it then. Everybody, thanks for listening. I'm actually going to be gone next week. Pray for me. I'm going to be in Hawaii with my bride.
Oh man, suffering for the Savior in the sand and the sun.
Somebody's got to do it, man. All right. Thanks for joining, Michael, and everybody. Take care. I will see you next time.
Bye, everybody.